is Dr. Maddy Roth with Roth Consulting Group. Today, we're going to talk about maternity leave and being a business owner. So I am currently 27 weeks pregnant and looking at my upcoming maternity leave and birth, and I'm scared. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm really worried. So with my first pregnancy, I had blood pressure issues till the end of my pregnancy, got induced, and it was okay. I didn't feel great when my blood pressure wasn't good. I had headaches, and I just felt like flustery, I could tell when it was high. And I wasn't functioning at my highest. I couldn't really even go on a brisk walk. I would just be like having so many Braxton Hicks contractions and just feeling awful. So I got induced. It was fine. Postpartum, I was hit with a wave of anxiety and depression, but I was just so flapped out after I had my baby. Like the second the baby came out, I was just like shaking so much, so anxious. I just could not, I felt like I couldn't cope. I was just crying constantly. Like my mom came to the hospital to visit the baby and I was just crying nonstop. I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And it was scary. And the OB was just like, why are you shaking? Why are you crying? Which made me even more anxious. I'm like, I have no idea. I literally do not know. So it was rough. And I was just like, those 3 months postpartum, those were probably the worst those were the worst 3 months of my life. Like when I went back to work, it's so much easier to go to work, people, than to stay home. It was just exhausting. My baby was colicky. He was one that loves the vacuum. Those kids that like the vacuum are those colicky ones. But it did get better. And now I love hanging out with my 2-year-old. He's super fun. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I love him so much. But those 3 months were torture. So I'm kind of mentally preparing myself. I was kind of out of commission for 3 months. I have to say, mentally, I was just gone. And physically, even during the pregnancy with those blood pressure issues, I just felt so out of control. It's just something so out of your control. There's nothing you can really do except, some of the home remedies, eat a lot of protein, whatever they all say. And then after that, I got pregnant again, and I had a miscarriage. And around that miscarriage, I had insane blood pressures. I was just at work and I was like, my blood pressure is so high. I can tell. Me and my colleague took it, and it was 200 over 110. And I'm just like, okay. I ended up going to the ER, sat in the ER for about 7 hours, didn't get seen, and I ended up just leaving because I'm like, I don't know, this is ridiculous. I sat here for 7 hours. I just want to get home to my son, and I guess I'll try to get with the OB again. I had called my OB. She's like, yeah, you need to go to the ER if it's that high. So I just left, basically AMA. But they didn't really care. They were just like, okay, another bed for someone else. Anyway, so I was like, blood pressure's out of control high. I feel horrible. And I'm 7 weeks pregnant. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if it's already 200 over 110, I'm not going to survive this pregnancy. If this is the beginning of the pregnancy and last pregnancy toward the end, it got high, I literally don't think I'm going to live. The baby's not going to live. It's just I was just really scared and a little bit haunted because one of my past patients, she just died. Like, she just died when she was pregnant. Perfectly healthy. You might have seen the reel on my Inspire Pelvic page. She was one of my first patients, her and her cousin. Like, I was so eternally grateful to them. Like, they came to my very first workshop. They were my two, like, first patients, and just having like those two filling my schedule was like so big when I first started. And they were just always so supportive, and like came during pregnancy. They had no issues during pregnancy, but they just wanted to be seen because they felt like that was the best thing they could be doing for their pregnancy and for their babies. And I saw the girl throughout her pregnancy. We stopped around 36 weeks. She was doing great. I mean, her core was insanely great. She had no issues during the pregnancy. They did say she was starting to have a little bit of high blood pressure. And then, yeah, her cousin just texted me and she's like, Abby and the baby didn't make it. I was like, what? Like, didn't, what? What do you mean? Like, did she like die? She's like, yep. I was like, the baby too? Yep. So she had like, I don't know, just like, what are the odds of that? Like, aren't the odds of like someone coming in and like murdering you like higher than like someone that's young and fit and healthy, like just dying like that when they're pregnant? So she kind of thought she was going into labor. She was like just feeling really sick. She was throwing up, and she thought she was about to go into labor, and that's why. And her husband left to like, I don't know what he was doing. I think he was like getting some like Gatorade and stuff, and he came back and she was just gone. She was just on the bathroom floor. So that kind of haunted me a little bit. And also, like, it's just the most terrible thing. Like, terrible things happen to the best people. It's just horrible. But that kind of got me like freaked out. I'm like, her blood pressure wasn't even that high. And like, I guess it was like a cardiac arrest. Like, yeah. So, and I'm like, oh gosh, like, I don't know. That freaked me out. That always just was such an impression on me. Like, I just love those girls so much. So then I was really kind of scared to get pregnant again. And then this pregnancy, I was like, it could have just been a fluke with that last one with the miscarriage. I don't know if I finished my story. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, blood pressure was really, really high with that second pregnancy. And then, what do you know? A couple days later, here comes the miscarriage. So, yeah. Anyway, must be like repressing that. So that was that. Blood pressure, boom, back to normal after the miscarriage. So either the miscarriage caused the whatever, or the high blood pressure was a sign my body was just like, whoa, like something's not right here. Like, we're having this miscarriage. I don't really know. Okay, so now I am pregnant for the third time, and hopefully it's all gonna go well. But I had like an episode of high blood pressure the other night, and I'm just like, I'm going down. And I'm just like so scared I'm gonna be so out of commission. So I'm preparing for the practice. I'm just like preparing to be completely out of commission, like starting at 30 weeks to a couple months postpartum, because my husband's like, what the heck? I was like, I want to write all the checks for like rent, because our rental people do like manual checks. Like, I'm going to write all the checks ahead of time. I'm going to have everything ready, because like, I don't even know if I'm going to be like mentally sound to like write checks. I probably will be. Like, I'm really preparing for the worst, but I'm also like, I was a basket case after having that first baby. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be like wanting to write checks. So anyway, this is how I'm preparing for my maternity leave, and I'm sure you all probably have better advice than I do. But what I'm doing, I'm just anything that I do during the day, I'm writing down, and then I'm making sure there's someone on our team that can perform that task. So one of the things I do is I run payroll for our clinic, and I just prefer to do it. I don't like my therapist to do it. I feel like that's a little inappropriate. But I do have one girl on our team. I mean, I trust all the girls, but I have one girl on the team I'm really close with. We're like childhood friends. She has all my passwords. She probably can get into my bank account. She knows my social, like whatever. She has all my crap. So I made videos for her, screen share videos on how to run payroll if I'm totally out of commission. I'm planning to just keep running it, but if I'm out of commission, she'll run it. As far as our two clinics, we have a clinic in Saginaw, one in Troy, about an hour and a half south of where I live. And so I've assigned two girls to leadership council. My OT that I've had on team for the longest, she's actually going to be doing 1 day a week down in Troy, and the rest of her days up in Saginaw, because and everyone knows she's kind of my eyes and ears, and she's the liaison if we need information relayed. I think it's just nice to have a point of contact. So she's kind of the liaison for the therapist, and then we have a liaison, the friend that I was telling you about. She's kind of the admin liaison. So hopefully that all goes well. It's tough. I think if you're a solopreneur then you have to make the decision, all right, do I just close up shop when I'm on maternity leave, or do I hire someone? I think you have to make that decision for yourself. I think it's going to be a little added stress to have someone, but it's also really tricky to close up shop for a few months. You know, you really lose momentum, especially if you're just starting, and those patients, maybe you get a couple evals your last week in the office, and you just have to say, like, all right, I'm not going to be in commission for 3 months. Or you tell them on the phone and they're like, all right, well, I'm going to go somewhere else. So you do lose a lot of business if you're just closing up shop. So the alternative you could think about is hiring someone, maybe part-time, training them while you're still upright and cruising around, and then have them fill in to at least see some patients a few days a week. And I think that could end up being a really cool thing too, because then after maternity leave, you can decide, hey, do I want to keep them on? You know, they're all trained up. And so maybe you do keep them on, or keep them on per diem, or you guys both treat patients. Maybe you needed to hire someone anyway. One of the nice things about not being the sole clinician, of course, one of the pros is going to be that the clinic's still going to be running. I'm still going to be able to take my salary for the month. That doesn't really change because I don't treat patients really anyways. But I just know, like right now, I have my foot on the gas. We're doing a few last minute things. I'm hiring another Troy therapist, gonna train her up, and then I think we're good. I think at that point, both clinics are gonna be solid. Of course, I really want to put my foot on the gas and open like another location really soon, but I'm also like, all right, Maddie, just chill. You know, build up the bank account, have these two clinics going, and then we'll worry about a third location after the dust settles after this baby. So that's the plan. Just wanted to share a little bit about my life and some of my thoughts lately. And I know a lot of business owners go through this as well. The decisions with when you're pregnant and having a baby, and what you're going to do with the practice, whether you need to hire more people or if you just put it on hold. And yeah, I am scared about how things are going to go. I know for our clinics, I feel like things come in about 3-month waves. About every 3 months, my staff needs a little kick in the can. Like, all right, let's step it up a little bit. Our therapists are getting a little lazy. Our admins are getting a little off script with the phone calls. And no one's trying to do that. I think people just, it's life. It's humans. We're not robots. So I'm nervous about how much accountability staff is going to have when I'm just out of commission. But I love my team so much. I really trust them. I think we have such like a deep level of, I don't know, love for each other, basically, that neither party is trying to screw each other over. Like, they really want me to be okay and the clinics to keep going while I'm on maternity leave. And I really want them to have an enjoyable life, an enjoyable job. And we just have our best, I think we have the best interests at heart. So I know, like, deep down, it's all going to work out okay. It might not be quite as smooth as it is when I'm able to hop in there and address issues as they come up, but it'll be good. Alrighty, have a great day, everyone.